What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Banks, coming at you live with another trade recap and trade plan. We know we hit back-to-back bangers on SPY today. I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. I'm going to be going over how to understand price action in this video, understand supply and demand, everything you need to know to make trades like this. But go ahead and hit that retweet and like so you don't miss any of this educational content I put out on a daily basis to make you a profitable trader, because that's what it's all about, being self-sufficient traders. Now, as you guys know, no hindsight here. Today, either we get a solid reject into supplies or we melt higher. Be ready for everything. We got both of those. Called it to a T in pre-market. And as you guys know, we grabbed the calls at open, and then for 100% banger, and then we grab some puts as well for another 100% banger. But you guys came here for the trade recap. So why did I take calls? Why did I take puts? Let's get into the calls first and foremost. What was I looking for? Well, we know that we're in a spot coming into this week where things are probably going to get pretty trappy. When you think like an MM, which is what everyone should start to do, what would be the pain trade, right? What would be the pain trade? Now, it's not always going to be the pain trade, but we're in a certain spot where we're in the middle of the high, we're in the middle of the low, right? We put in a high, we put in a low. We're just diddling right in the middle of that, right? So typically when we're trading on an intraday chart and we're taking day trades, we don't want to diddle in the middle. We want to buy at a big spot, either the top of the range or at the bottom, right? We want to buy at our big levels. Right now we're in the middle. So what is my thought process going into this week? Well, my first thought process is probably going to try to melt us higher, right? Everyone, we're in a big supply. There's a big bear flag. Cool. Let's melt us higher, right? Let's give us a little melt higher. I think everyone's going to get long. They keep pushing it while everyone keeps trying to get short. And then once everybody flips along, they bring us short. Cool. We kind of got that today. Another idea, right? Because you always got to think, it's kind of like a chess game. You got to think 2, 3 steps ahead of what could happen. Well, I was also thinking sell off at open, try to trap everyone to get short, bounce it, get a melt higher. So we kind of had a little push up at open. They sold us off pretty quickly. That was my cue where I was like, they're probably going to now trap everybody to the downside, put in a big bounce and melt us higher. Great, right? No hindsight trades. Again, we took the calls, right? So there's not a hindsight video. This is real action, right? Real trades that we're taking. So why did I take calls and where did I take calls? This is the more important part beyond the psychology I just talked about. Well, top-down approach. As you guys know, we want to look at the higher time frames down to the lower time frames. Great. We're in a bear flag. We're in supply. Where am I going to take that bounce? Well, if we look left, we can see, go down to the 1 hour, got a little bit more for you guys. If we look left, what do we see? What do we see here? Well, we know this was the previous gap fill, right? We had a gap fill in the 531. Gap fill in the 531. Great. We filled it. All right. Now, once we broke above this major supply, once we broke above this major level, right, as we did on Friday, that back test, where do you want that to hold, right? Where's one of those first big levels that you want to look for to hold? Well, it would be right at this gap fill, right? Because we know that that gap fill from the bottom, that was our target, right? That was our target. Once we started bouncing from the bottom, creating higher highs, higher lows, this picture perfect, bull trend right into that gap fill, right? Easy peasy. Where are we looking for a back test to hold? Now, it was great. We hit it on the money at 531 2AT. Great. But I was looking even down at about 530.25. We can do something like this, right? We know that this is the beginning of the gap fill. And we can see on this hourly, we have this supply right here. So we can look down to the top, I'd say 531.71, but really I'm looking at the beginning of this gap fill. And I'll go in right here, 531, 531, 531. Great. So now I was staying patient. I didn't take, right? I didn't take the puts at open. I was staying patient. It came back down. And that's another thing, guys, is there's going to be multiple opportunities to take trades. Just because something's moving, has momentum to one way, doesn't mean you need to FOMO. If you're not in the trade, you didn't buy at a big level, right? If you would have bought it open, great. But when you're starting to get down to these levels where we could put in a bounce, where we put a slight bounce here, right? You could easily get trapped. So don't try to short the hole or buy the top, right? Buy at your levels. And if you miss the trade, you miss the trade. Who cares? There will be multiple opportunities, whether it's that day, the next day, or the week, or there's literally a million opportunities every single day. So if you miss one, do not chase, do not get FOMO, wait for your levels. So we're selling off. Great. Everyone's in panic mode. They were trying to FOMO in the puts. Guess what I did? Sat back, relaxed, said, if we're going to come down, where's going to be my spot to look? Well, we know that 531 again was that gap fill. Big reject there. Reject again. We finally broke above. So we're looking for a back test. Where are we going to look? Supply turn into demand. Resistance turn into support. Right now, supply is going to be a zone. Resistance support is going to be an actual level with that 531. But we had this zone, right? Down kind of in the 530 in this zone right here. Great. We got it to a T on that gap fill of 531. We took calls, right? Momentum started to slow down. We try to push down. Let's go down to the 5-minute, I believe, or even the 2-minute look great. So again, guys, I'm always flipping through all the different time frames. Why? It kind of shows me the whole picture of the story, right? If you're just zoomed in on one time frame, you're missing the complete picture. That's like having a photo of something, or just having one big puzzle, but you're only looking at one little puzzle piece, right? You got to look at the whole puzzle, the whole structure, the whole picture. Bear flag, right? Uh-oh, we're getting short. Nope. Right. So we essentially put in a double bottom, sweep the lows. But where did we hold as support? That 531, right? I don't know why it does this, that 531. So you could see from the higher time frames down to the lower time frames, I can create my analysis. I understand where I want to buy, and then we have our big levels on the time frames. We know our zone on the higher time frames because those hold the most weight. And then once we have those levels, we have those zones, we can be on the lower time frames looking for that actual entry. Great, we're selling, selling, selling. Big bounce, sweep the lows, nice little liquidity. We held that 531, created a higher low here, and then pushed higher. So we saw in the lower time frames, momentum slowed, a double bottom essentially. We swept the lows, nice little liquidity grab right into our 531 level. Took calls, absolutely banked to the upside. So that was the reasoning. Hope you guys understand where I always have a top down approach. I'm not just on one little time frame. I'm on all time frames. Find my big levels, big zones on the higher time frames. From there, I know where I'm looking to buy or looking to short, and then I can go down to the smaller time frames and really hone in my actual entry to the trade I want to take, right? Because obviously, yeah, if we're going to have a 1 hour that's pushing, or 4 hour, or a daily that's pushing one way, great. Yeah, we can see that we're going to see a bigger move out of it with a high probability that it pans out. But for the actual entry, yes, I like to use the smaller time frames with that top down approach. Great. We're holding calls, running it up. Now we're breaking above highs. Uh-oh. We're getting that melt up. Everyone keeps getting short, keep getting short, keep getting short, keep getting short. And now we're just melting up. Now, where do you think we're going to flip long? Or where do you think retail now is going to flip long? Maybe, we broke above 535. We broke above 534. Sorry. I don't know why it always does this. We broke above 534.50. That high. We're holding. We're above it. We're just melting. Looks like we're going to keep going. Nope. Starting to get weak. So why did I look to take puts? Why did I look to take puts? Well, again, I had the game plan. I mean, I've been doing this long enough where we're in that zone of going to try to trap everybody this way, going to try to trap everybody this way, and we just go back and forth, right? If we look at the bigger picture, we're in that zone of, are we going to go up? Are we going to go down? Let's trap some people either way. You can say big old doji trapped upside, trapped to the downside, right? Absolutely picture perfect trap day. You have CPI, we have PPI, big data coming up. But beyond that, right? Doing this long enough, now we're going to get trapped. Trapped at the lows, trapped at the top. So we take puts at the top here, right? For another 100% banger. Great. So I already have it in my head. I already have a thesis that we're going to get trapped. So where would be the spot that everyone's going to get trapped to the upside? Well, we just broke highs. We broke pre-market high. We just broke the bounce from the bottom, from those lows. We just broke those highs. We're above pre-market high. Retail's going to slam longs, drop it on its head. Now, was I looking for this big and this fast of a pullback? No, I wasn't. I was looking for at least 534, or even retest into these highs, really 534 to hold, maybe a higher low here around 533.40. Obviously, we got all the way down here, which was awesome. We took the 532 puts. So again, we had the thesis. We know it's going to be trappy. Another thing is momentum is slowing. Momentum is slowing, right? Where are they going to try to find buyers? They need to liquidate lower. We're going to try to find buyers lower. So we have big momentum, pushing up, right? And you can see that momentum slowing. I mean, always get this question, what is momentum? This is momentum, right? Don't overthink it. It's not something that's this super complicated thing. You can literally see momentum, right? This is momentum, right? Something like this isn't momentum. This is momentum. This is momentum, right? This is momentum. So momentum, right? Not momentum. Momentum, not momentum. Um, Pretty simple. So we're losing momentum. I already had that thesis. We're going to trap people along. Went ahead and took puts to the upside. And even if you didn't have the thesis that we're going to get trapped today, you can see big called a shooting star. Long, lower high, starting to break structure. We broke structure here. Zoom, boom, all the way to the downside. We can even go to the 5-minute a little bit better, right? Even the 5-minute. We broke structure. We broke that 535. And then we're starting to break lows. We retested it, and then it's just all the way down, right? So that was the reason why I took puts. And where do we hold? This is going to be another important factor of, I hope everyone's starting to understand this whole supply and demand. Where do we bounce into? Was it not just demand? Balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance. You pushed up, you sold off to, right into the man. You felt this imbalance, right into the man. We're up, we're up, we're up. Uh-oh, where'd we sell off to? Right into supply, right? Balance, imbalance. We sold right into supply, coming back down. Where are we selling off to? Okay, just a higher, right? Just another demand, right? So demand, supply, demand, right? We're right above that demand, supply, push down, demand. And you can even say, right? Balance, imbalance, supply, right? So I want you guys, I don't need to draw these boxes personally, but you guys can start doing this to understand supply and demand. Watch the other videos on supply and demand, but you guys can see balance, imbalance, balance, imbalance, right? Balance, imbalance, right? It's just, today was literally just push and demand, which we knew that bigger demand was that 531, right? That gap fill, supply from the top, coming right back down into demand. We bounced right back into intraday supply, sold off right back into demand, right back into intraday supply. And we kind of just marbled out and then fizzled out there at the very end. But look, we're bouncing in demand yet again at the close. So there's a little tidbit of supply, intraday supply and demand. Yes, everything that you do in trading and can use is relative from the lifetime, hourly, daily, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second. Everything is relative in trading. It just depends on how you're actually trading, right? But everything from supply and demand, any kind of EMAs, everything you can use is all relative depending on the time frame you use. Higher time frames hold more weight, they're the bigger levels. Then we go intraday, and you can have intraday levels and take trades based off of this as well, right? Um, Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, want to give a big shout out to everybody in the Wolves, absolutely smashing it today. If you guys aren't already a part, you should be, but I'll see you guys next time. Again, my name is Mr. Banks. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys can do this. Take it one trade at a time. It's not a get rich quick scheme. And actually learn how to trade. I mean, you guys are already here, so you're already wanting to learn how to trade. Please, it's become a self-sufficient trader. Learn how to actually trade. This whole nonsense, 100K, 100 to $1 million challenges, guys. If those were real and they really worked, you would have news articles. The people running in would be famous. It's a fallacy. It's a delusion. Learn how to actually trade. All right. I'll see you next time. I love you guys again. My name is Mr. Banks. Catch you tomorrow.